Hello and welcome back to another episode of League Talk. Today is episode number 46 and we have something really interesting. Now this is something for me that is it's wildly underrated in the esports scene, in any scene that you really look into. The reason being is because it's just the latter part of the day that not many people think about. Now it's sleep. And that's what all of today's episode is going to be about. All to do with sleep. Now we're going to go over the things that are really important for someone when it comes to sleeping, and just generally the stuff that is going to be beneficial for you if you do get sleep, as well as how to actually implement that and how to get into the crux of just trying to get some sleep and get more sleep basically, or more importantly maybe the right amount of sleep. So this is something that we'll talk about later, but the first thing that we're going to talk about is what sleep can do for us. Now, we understand that it's good to sleep and you feel better when you're not tired, but first of all, what sleep can do is massively increase your positivity. We're going to go over 4 different reasons why you should sleep for the right amount of time, and then we're going to talk about how that can apply to us and how we can really implement that strong sleeping schedule into our day. But the first thing, as I mentioned, was positivity. Now, mental health issues like depression are strongly linked to poor quality of sleep. Now, sleep can also increase positive social interactions, and this was a study done by Kent et al. And of course, this is important for those who play in professional environments, in teams or team houses, but also is really important for anyone that's just playing solo queue as well. So, obviously, you want to have the best social relationship you can have with your teammates, and if you're more positive, obviously that's going to be better for you in-game. Now, sleep can also affect the ability to notice positive stimuli in our environment. Now, this is something that Dr. Ian Vargas said. And he said that sleep deprivation in essence stops people having the ability to focus on positive things. Now, that could be waking up and you see the sun outside, and it's sunny and you're happy to see the sun. It could be that you're hearing the birds chirping, something as small and somewhat insignificant as that. And that's something that you see as positive, and that helps you throughout your whole day. Now, in our day-to-day, of course, we want to be as positive mentally as we can be, really. However, in the environment of solo queue or in professional play, we deal with people, and that can be draining. For solo queue, it's definitely the case. That said, people can be extremely volatile, right? Especially in solo queue. So having a positive attitude will change your games completely. Not all of them, of course. But I believe that the majority of games can be altered with a positive outlook, whether that's positive on yourself or just outwardly positive. So let's win this game, guys. Or, okay, I may be 20 CS down, I'm playing Kale top into a Renekton. May or may not have just happened to me. I'm 20 CS down, playing Kale into Renekton, but it doesn't matter because once I hit level 60, I'm a champion, and we can win off of that. Now, in pro play, or even when duoing really, you work with people, and of course you're working with their personalities. Therefore, in essence, don't be a dick, really. Using sleep to hopefully keep your mindset in a positive place will, of course, help that. You want to be the best person you can, and obviously that can start with positivity. So that's the first thing. Sleep can really help with a positive outlook. Now, the next thing, this is a bit of a different one, but it definitely applies to this scenario. Now, a study was done, actually lots and lots of studies were done, but it's all to do with athletic performance. Now, this study was done on basketball players, but I think, personally, the themes are more than applicable to League of Legends, more specifically esports. So, the name is M-A-H et al. Found that longer sleep was shown to significantly improve speed, accuracy, reaction times, and, of course, mental well-being. Now, when we break that down, it could be speed of mouse, for example. So you could be not sleeping very well, and simply the way you move your mouse across the screen isn't as quick. That's one way that would help. Accuracy, the next one. Obviously, this was probably to do with their physical game, so it was the speed of their movement. It could be their ability to catch, ability to move, change direction, shift their weight, their centre of gravity. It could all be to do with different things like this, but I think it does apply. Obviously, as I said, speed of the mouse movement. The next one could be accuracy of clicks. So this is something that LS talks about an awful lot. He talks about how accurate your clicks are and clicking in the right place. Now, if you're in a team fight, for example, and you're playing Jinx, you want to be right-clicking on a certain target. Your accuracy might decrease. You might click less accurately if you haven't slept as much. And then, of course, reaction time, that could be for flashes, for example. So your reaction time to dodge Scion Q, it could be to dodge a Jinx ult, it could be anything like that. Just your reaction time to hit an ability, could even be to pull as Vlad, or to use Rek'Sai's new ultimate for a way of dodging a skill shot as well. So therefore, obviously sleeping can improve the physical way that one plays the game, right? So it's not just a matter of my mental well-being, it's also the way my body acts, my person is in a physical environment. The next thing, now this is really interesting, is concentration and productivity. So Ellenbogen, I don't think this was Ellenbogen et al. I think this was just Ellenbogen, which is a bit of an interesting last name, but found that cognition, concentration, productivity, and performance all drop when one doesn't sleep well or experiences sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation is basically not sleeping well, it's just you're being deprived of sleep. It tends to be on a longer time frame, so it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. Anyway, of course, concentration is important to make sure practice is going well and you are playing to the best of your ability in scrims. You want to be concentrating on everything that you need to be concentrating on. It could be you need to concentrate on the minimap, it could be you need to concentrate on CSing. It just means that you're concentrating on the game. Productivity, that will help with a more focused practice. So if you aren't having a productive practice, you may be in trouble, as it could be considered more of a waste of time. How do we make it not a waste of time? Have a more productive practice. How do we do that? We sleep. And then performance, that sort of speaks for itself. So if you want your performance to be as high as humanly possible, a good way to start is to start sleeping more, or sleeping for the right amount, but we will talk on that a little bit later. And then cognition. Now this word might be an unusual one, but cognition speaks to the ability to acquire knowledge and understand it. So therefore, the practice of learning something, you want your cognitive ability to be at its highest. So let's say I am learning a new champion. I've never played Lissandra before. Never played that champion. So I want to learn Lissandra. Cognitively, I need to be on the ball. I need to have my best cognitive ability possible to learn this champion in the quickest fashion. It could be that this new Kayle has brought out, and it means that my top laner for the team needs to learn this matchup. How do we do that? Just make sure that the cognition, concentration, productivity, and performance are all at its highest. That doesn't help if you're sleep deprived. Now, imagine playing a game of League of Legends, but you're drunk. You've had an awful lot to drink, way too much. It's like Chunder Central. You're chundering everywhere, but you're extremely drunk. And you're now playing League. Sleep deprivation to many countries is a lawful offence if you're behind a steering wheel, behind a car, driving a car. A study by Williamson and Fire, I believe I'm saying that right, found that sleep deprivation has similar impacts on brain functions, and it's similar to alcohol intoxication. Is playing League drunk going to be beneficial as sober? Probably not. If you're not looking to enjoy, if your only aim isn't to enjoy yourself, it's probably not beneficial, right? So that is a little example of how sleep can really affect you in a major way, more than you realise as well. So having good sleep, however, can improve problem-solving skills and memory performance, and this was shown by Walker et al., another study by Conan et al., and another study by Mednick et al. So they found that problem-solving skills and memory performance increases when you're sleeping better. So obviously problem-solving skills is important for League in the same way that memory is important for League. You know, they're pretty self-explanatory. So those are the real mental and physical benefits of it, but there's obviously severe health benefits for it. So your metabolism and weight. So better sleep can cause people to eat fewer calories. That was found by Tahiri et al. And moreover, adults with short sleep durations, so that could be 6-7 hours, that's considered a shorter sleep duration, are 55% more likely to be obese, and that was found out by Patel and Hu, their study. Of course, with a bigger appetite, which can happen if you are not sleeping well, a worse standard of eating may creep in as well. So if you're always hungry, you might be more likely to go to McDonald's, for example. Esports athletes may not have a particularly active lifestyle, and therefore their maintenance calories, so what they eat in a day to not lose weight or not gain weight, are pretty low theoretically, right? If you're sat behind a computer for 16 hours. So if you're eating poorly or you're eating more, you're more likely to gain weight, you're more likely to feel the health drawbacks of gaining weight, the heart diseases, the diabetes, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, metabolism and weight is affected severely by sleep. Actually, this is a really, really big one. It's 85%. So that number where I said adults with shorter sleep durations are 55% more likely to be obese. That's 85% in children. So that's anyone under 18, which could be some people listening to this, watching this. Just another one to consider. So the next topic was immune function. So your body and the immune system in your body functions at a significantly worse rate. If you have less sleep, the weaker the immune system is, and that was just found by Irwin et al. It can also stop diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. So those are the main health benefits. It's like immune function, disease prevention, and your metabolism. Those are some of them anyway. There's obviously so many, but these are the ones that I picked out. So obviously sleep is important, as we've discussed, but obviously knowing this and understanding it is great, but not so easy to put into practice. Research generally shows that 8 hours is the best, but how do we get 8 hours? So for me, one of the most important things is scheduling, and you've heard me talk about this an awful lot on podcasts, on videos, anything. I think schedule and making sure you have a strong schedule is really, really important. And you can do that by making sure that you wake up and go to sleep at a similar time, if not the same time where possible. And best way to do it is do that every day. I don't go to sleep at the same time because my life is different like that, but I always try and wake up at 6:30. The only time I didn't this week was Thursday, and that was 7 o'clock. So obviously it's different for me. I work a full-time job. So it might be 9:30, it might be 10 o'clock, it might be whatever time. But making sure that you get 8 hours and waking up at the same time and going to sleep at a similar time is really, really good idea to do, I think, personally. There's other things like reducing blue light exposure. So blue light comes from screens. So automatically when you hear that, you go, well, no more league past 10 o'clock or whatever. Fear not, it doesn't mean that. You can play league. You can wear blue light blocking glasses, maybe not the most fashionable stuff, but who gives a toss if you're sitting by yourself. And you can install apps onto devices, whether it's a PC or an Android phone or whatever, that actually block that blue light. And as far as I'm aware, block it relatively well. I haven't used it myself, but yeah. So blue light's another one, scheduling, and caffeine consumption's another one. So obviously for gamers, it could be Red Bulls, it could be anything like G Fuel. I believe that has caffeine in it, I'm not entirely sure. But caffeine has a 6 to 8 hour half-life, which means it generally takes 6 to 8 hours to wear off from the time of consumption. So if you have a coffee at 9 o'clock, 6 hours from there, you might feel the effects of caffeine lessen. If you have one at 12 o'clock, it could be 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. before you feel that. It depends on your person, it depends on your caffeine tolerance. Therefore, ideally, if you don't drink coffee or Red Bulls or anything like that, 6 hours before you go to sleep is a really good way to make sure that's sort of flushed out your body. If best, 8 hours, but always drinking water will flush things out quicker. Obviously, you can exercise regularly. That's obviously something that's going to make you feel more tired. It's going to make your body feel better, physically, mentally, everything like that. We've done episodes on exercise in the past, so you can always check those out. And then there's a couple of weird ones, so find out what relaxes you. So could be that you take a nice shower, you go and have a bath. If you're into that sort of stuff, candles are really good for relaxation. You need to find out what can relax you. And then finally, for esports athletes, my recommendation is to sleep and work in different places. You can see my bed's behind me. It's not ideal, but if you can, having your desk, the place you work, the place you play the game, in a different place to where you sleep is really, really positive. Now, those are just some ways to do it. You can find hundreds of them. Meditation, mindfulness, all that sort of stuff will help. Some people, I used to have insomnia, still sort of do. I went to sleep therapy a couple of times. They used to say you have to tell each part of your body to go to sleep, and that works really well. So you find your ways. It's different for everyone, of course. But that pretty much sums up episode 46 of League Talk. So we went over positivity, athletic performance, concentration, productivity, and the health benefits of sleeping. And all of these things are things that sleep do positively for us as human beings. And then we went over little ways to actually implement that and feel those effects and feel good about it. It is proven that if you sleep too much, that is a thing. You can sleep for too long. So for me, I find that 8 hours is a really good barrier for me, where I don't feel too tired and I don't feel too like massively awake and buzzing until midnight or whatever. So yeah, we've gone over the schedule as well, and how to put 8 hours of sleep into our lives relatively easily. So put it into practice. Let me know how it goes if you're interested. Let me know how this episode goes. I want to hear the feedback. If any feedback's good feedback, so whether it's positive or negative, I'd really like to hear it. So let me know. You can catch me at leaguE Talk Show on Twitter or at league_talk on Instagram. Thank you ever so much for listening, and hope you have a wonderful day.